Okay, hi Zach, welcome to lesson number 101. Today's lesson is going to be awesome. It's going to go over factorable denominators. You're going to like it. Okay, here we go. I've decided to become a math teacher, but I'm only going to teach subtraction. I just want to make a difference. Get it? I want to make a difference. Good one. Okay, I thought you'd like that. Okay, here we go. Let's jump into the lesson. Basically, algebra books like to emphasize problems like this, but they're going to make it relatively easier for you because the trinomials and binomials in these expressions are usually going to be factorable. That means what they want you to do first is factor as much as you can and then try and do the division problem, because when you factor it, then you're going to have expressions that are probably going to be the same. And then those I don't know, x minus 4 or whatever. And you'll see that in more than one place. And so then it'll be something that you can solve easier if you factor them first. So that is the key to all of these problems. They probably want you to recognize that you can factor some of these trinomials and binomials and then do the problem. That's it, easy peasy. Let's jump into the examples, right? So more factoring, more doing division and addition and stuff like that. Okay, example 101 says add, which is interesting because over here there's a subtraction, but as you know, subtraction is the same as adding a negative. So they say add, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, so we're gonna add 6x over x squared minus x minus 12, and then we're gonna subtract this whole thing from it. P over x minus 4. So what do you do with a problem like this? Well, first of all, you recognize that they probably want you to factor. So let's factor this denominator first. Okay, let me make it in a different color. So we're going to factor the one on the left first, and we'll end up with 6x over, and I'm not going to review how to factor because I know that you are really good at that. And so what they get is x minus 4 and x plus 3, okay? And then on the right, you're gonna have p over x minus 4, and we're just gonna leave that one the same because look, you've got an x minus 4 over here and you've got an x minus 4 over here. So now you can see that when you add, remember when you add fractions, you have to get a common denominator. And the least common multiple, or the LCM, remember all this, of the denominators is going to be this whole thing, right? Okay, because you could do the top and bottom like that. So then this whole thing is going to be the common denominator. That's how you do it. Okay, so I'm going to use a different color for this part. So we're going to get the common denominator. I'm going to do x minus 4 and x plus 3 here. And then we're going to subtract x minus 4 and x plus 3. Okay, so I'm just rewriting both of these fractions. Okay, so on this fraction, the way I turned this into this, I didn't have to do anything. So the top stays the same. It's going to be 6x. But what about this one? What did we have to do to the top and the bottom? We had to multiply by x plus 3. So I'm just going to, yeah, I'll do that. I'll write that step. P times x plus 3. Okay, so now what's interesting, you could, okay, so let me move this down because I need more room here. I need one more space, and I'll do it in red. So the bottom is going to be x minus 4, x plus 3. And the top is going to be 6x minus p, and then all they did here is just multiply this out. This times this plus this times this. So they did p minus px, whoops, it's not pp, sorry, minus px minus 3p. And then you could keep it like this, but I do want you to be aware that if you write this for your answer and they have this in the back of the book, x squared minus x minus 12, then you still got it right because these denominators are the same thing. They just multiplied it out. Okay? Okay, so easy peasy. Let me just say something. Okay, here, sorry. I'm answering a text really quick. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go on to example 101.2. We are going to add these two things. And you're like, how do I do this? Just like the SpongeBob? No, you're not saying that. You got this. You got this. So, again, they ask us to add. Again, there's a subtraction, but we know that that's just adding a negative. The first step is we're going to factor both denominators because we see something like this and we're like, okay, they want us to factor, then they want us to get a common denominator. We know the drill by now, right? Okay, so let's factor both. So I'm going to factor this one underneath here. And this turns into x minus 6, x plus 1. Okay, and then this second one turns into, the only way to factor this one, this denominator, is to pull out an x, right? So if we pull out an x, we've got x minus 6, which is very convenient because you have an x minus 6 here and an x minus 6 here. And that's what you'll see in these problems because they made them just for you to be able to factor. So that is very convenient. All right, now we have to get the LCM of the denominator. Remember, the LCM is the least common multiple of the denominator because if you're adding or subtracting fractions, you have to have a common denominator. Common denominator is our friend. So we're going to get a new denominator. The new denominator is going to be, whoops, I want a new color. I want that color. Okay. So the new denominator is going to be what? It's going to be this and this and this x because you've got to include all of them, right? So it's going to be x, x minus 6, x plus 1. Bam, we got it. Now we're going to subtract that second one. The denominator is going to be the same. X minus 6, x plus 1, bam. Okay, so now what do we have to do to the top? We have to multiply it by this x because that's not up here, it's missing. So we need an x right there. Now what do we have to do to this second numerator? We have to multiply it by x plus 1 because you've got all the other factors, okay? So it's going to be 5x plus 1. Okay, easy peasy. Now, the answer you get, I clearly did not leave enough room on any of these. The answer that you get is going to have this common denominator. So it's going to have x, x minus 6, x plus 1. And then we just subtract the numerators. So it's going to be 7x minus 5x plus 5. Do you see how I multiplied this out? 5 times x and then 5 times 1. But you could also simplify it. 7x minus 5x is the same as 2x. So that is the final answer. Easy peasy. Huh? You're getting this. Okay, let's do example 101.3. I know you're feeling strong just like that SpongeBob now. And we're going to add these two fractions. Pretty cool. Let's factor those denominators and see what we get. Let's factor this and this. So that's how we're going to begin. Alrighty, so let's make two new fractions. On the left, we're going to have x plus 3, x minus 2. On the right, we're going to just pull out an x and do x plus 3. Got it? Okay, now let's get the numerators. Okay, so the numerator on the left-hand one is 4x plus 2. What do we need to do? Well, we didn't change that fraction at all. We just factored it, so it's going to be the same, 4x plus 2. But if we did, let's see. Oh, I just need to copy down the numerators. We're not at that step yet. Okay, so now we have to find the least common multiple. All right, LCM. Ready for the LCM? What is going to be the LCM between these two? Well, we need this x. We need to put that there. And then we need an x minus 2 over here, and then they will be the same. So let's do it. Okay. So now is where I'm changing. I'm not changing the value though, right? Because I'm multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same thing, so that doesn't change the value of it. It just changes what it looks like. All right, so these are going to be the same denominator now. Now we have to figure out how do we change this numerator. And all we did was add an x to the bottom, so we have to add an x to the top, right? So it's going to be x times 4x plus 2. Okay, what do we need to do to this numerator to make this denominator? Okay, so we need an x minus 2 here. So we got to do the same thing to the top, x minus 2. So we got to do 4 times x minus 2. Easy peasy. All right, now we can finally subtract, which is what the whole problem was about in the first place. So let's finally subtract. I'm going to get a new fraction here. My denominator is going to stay the same because you subtract fractions that way. And now the numerator is going to be, let's multiply this out as we go. This times this is 4x squared plus 2x, because I did this times this x. All right, now we're going to subtract 4x. I'm going to put brackets here. 4x, and then it's going to be minus 8. Whoops, that's not a bracket. Okay, and now I'm going to change the sign on all of that because of that. So I'm going to do plus a negative 4x, which is just minus 4x, but then it's going to be a plus 8. Do you get why? Because I subtracted this entire numerator. So you have to change the signs. Okay, so now we can simplify. You have 4x squared plus 2x minus 4x. So this middle part can simplify to just minus 2x. So I'm just going to erase that and do minus 2x and then plus 8. Okay, easy peasy, right? Guess what? That is the whole lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I tried to draw a heart there. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Okay, love you, Zach. Bye.